On a hot and muggy Sunday night from San Marcos, it is non-conference soccer, the matchup between the UTRGV Vaqueros out of the Southland and the host Texas State Bobcats, new members of the Pac-12 Conference. Good evening and welcome to the Bobcats Soccer Complex alongside Bill Colhane. I'm Brant Freeman, getting you ready for this matchup between these two, both playing the second matches of the season and both looking for the first wins of the year as well.
Yeah, Texas Southern went down to Edinburgh and gave UTRGV everything they wanted and then some. Not a good effort by the Vaqueros. It's a match you want to learn from and kind of flush. Meanwhile, for the Bobcats traveled to take on rivals UTSA, and it was more a backyard brawl than it was a soccer match. And the Bobcats, on a number of instances, were just that one final play away from putting the ball in the back of the net.
Now, these two teams, look at what they're coming off of from a year ago. For the Vaqueros, 6 wins last season, brand new coaching staff this year, 19 newcomers. And for the Bobcats, reigning Sun Belt Tournament champions from last year with a lot of returning talent and their staff back. Two programs kind of in different places right now.
Yeah, Taki Stewart, coming over from St. Thomas, had a lot of success over in Houston. Now taking over the Vaqueros, trying to implement his system. You mentioned he's trying to learn his players, new players in the program. For the Bobcats, meanwhile, Texas State, coming off the momentum of 2025, advanced to an NCAA tournament match. And there are some new faces, but there is a lot of quality back for Coach Holman and the Bobcats.
It is the first ever meeting between the Vaqueros and the Bobcats, and we got the start coming up next. You're watching Sunday Night College Soccer on the official YouTube channel of the Pac-12 Conference. And welcome back to the Bobcats Soccer Complex. A look at tonight's starting keeper for the Vaqueros, Mariana Amezcua, the sophomore from Puebla, Mexico. Actually a former Sun Belt Conference player herself, transferred from Southern Mississippi. And coming off a tough debut in the opener against Texas Southern.
Yeah, Texas Southern had the field tilted for much of the afternoon. A lot of pressure on the goalkeeper for the Vaqueros. And it was really a situation where the Vaqueros have to clean up so much, and that includes the back end of the defense as well.
Meanwhile, for Texas State, getting her second straight start to begin the brand new year is Caitlin Draper. Missed all of last season due to a shoulder injury, got the start in Wednesday's opener against UTSA and gets it again here tonight. A player who has some pretty impressive numbers throughout her Texas State career.
Yeah, and tonight it'll be her 28th career start between the pipes for Texas State. She'll go over 2,500 career minutes in goal for the Bobcats. So a lot of experience, a lot of athleticism at the goalkeeper position for Texas State in the person of Caitlin Draper.
In terms of what this match comes down to for both the Vaqueros and the Bobcats, break it down for us, Bill. What does each team need to do to get that first win of the season?
Well, for Texas State, I think it comes down to what we saw the Bobcats on display against UTSA, the speed, the technical aspects. The Bobcats, I think it's clear, will be the team with the most of that in tonight's match. For the Vaqueros, it's really like an Etch-a-Sketch. You know, slide it over and start over for the Vaqueros and try to be physical like UTSA was against the Bobcats earlier this season.
Look there at Caitlin Draper, and to the right of her is Victoria Mesa, the senior from El Salvador, who's named as the most outstanding player of last year's Sun Belt Conference Tournament. First team of conference honors a year ago, a player to watch the Pac-12 this season.
Electrifying. There are certain players out on the pitch that when the ball's on their foot, you look away from your phone, you stop scrolling, and it gets your attention, and she is certainly that.
So there is Mesa, 12 career goals for a year ago, 4 career game winners for Texas State, also an outstanding defender on top of all the offensive accolades. For the Vaqueros, one of the players to watch, one of their internationals from Sweden, Linnea Eld, the senior, is the top returning offensive player for UTRGV. 7 career goals of her own, 6 assists, and a couple of game winners. There at midfield is Isabella Bertini, the junior from British Columbia. Both teams, a lot of international flavor outside the U.S. on these rosters.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. In preparation for this, I thought, hey, the Men's World Cup is just over, but in preparation for this match, there would be a lot of flags flying in San Marcos.
And we are officially underway here at the Bobcat Soccer Complex. Texas State coming off a 2-2 draw in the opener against rival UTSA. The Vaqueros 2-0 losers at home against Texas Southern. Texas State in the gradient maroon and black kits tonight, and the Vaqueros in the all-orange. Texas State now possession of the attacking third. This is Mesa. The cross into the 18, bounces away from a Vaquero. That shot well high the target. With the Bobcats 40 seconds in, a scoring chance against UTRGV.
Yeah. Texas State already that speed on display as the Bobcats run down the long ball and put a ball right into the mouth of the goal against the Vaqueros, and that's kind of the way things went for the Vaqueros against Texas Southern.
More about Texas State's opener against UTSA. Head coach Steve Holman now in his fifth season at Texas State, 32nd year overall. Noted just how fast-paced the match was. It came down to set pieces, very challenging environment to play in front of as well. It feels as if that's going to be a very good measuring stick type of match for them moving forward.
Yeah, as I watched that and watching UTSA, a lot of grabbing, holding, shoving. I watched the Cowboys against the Seahawks last night, and I think the match UTSA v. Texas State had more of that stuff than the NFL football game. But in all seriousness, you know, when you think about what's ahead for Texas State, and I know Coach Holman and his staff do, the student athletes do, but, you know, the Utah States of the Pac-12, they're going to watch that match, and they're going to see what UTSA did to slow down Texas State.
Foul called here against Texas State's Helen Alaminu, the junior out of Ghana, one of 3 players on Texas State's roster from the nation of Ghana. Ina Norshi, in her second year with the Bobcats, transferred from Florida State, one of the others. In fact, she scored for the Bobcats against UTSA on Wednesday. The only other goal for Texas State was an own goal from UTSA's Alaminu gets knocked down. No call. Bobcats back in possession. This is Jenny Gonkum, the junior from Paris, France, second year with this Bobcat program. Kaylee Smith's pass up along the near side is off target. And that'll lead to a throw in for the Vaqueros from Gabby Saboya.
Getting back
from Brazil.
Sorry, but getting back to that UTSA Texas State match, and it had everything. I think we've already kind of alluded to that fact, but there was an own goal, there was a PK, there was a goal for UTSA that tied it up 2-2, was a ball deflected in, and then there was that one goal where Texas State on a set piece, absolutely a beautiful ball by Satsui that led to that second goal for Texas State.
And a handful of yellow cards administered as well in that match in San Antonio.
Yeah, not a lot of flow to the match, which clearly is exactly what UTSA wanted. They wanted stoppages and slowing the ball down.
We mentioned Steve Holman, the head coach for Texas State, now in year 5 for the Bobcats, coming off a Sun Belt Championship campaign for the Vaqueros. As you take a look at Coach Holman, he's now up to season number 32, 327 career wins, tied for 25th in the country among active Division I coaches. And for the Vaqueros, it is Nataki Stewart, better known as Taki, is the aluminium whistle for her second foul, knocking down Anahea Alona, the freshman from Katy, and a free kick now for the Vaqueros.
Vaqueros against Texas Southern didn't spend a lot of time on the offensive attack, and a number of times when the Vaqueros did get the ball deep, they would end up launching a shot from well outside the box.
UTRGV in possession now in the attacking third. One of the attackers slips down on the natural grass surface. Pass outside of the 18 to Bertini. And the ball is going to go the other way in Texas State's favor.
I thought it was interesting, your conversation with Coach Holman in preparation for tonight's match. He talked about, and we've already mentioned the new faces. That's the reality of college athletics in 2026, right? But so there are new pieces, and he said in these early matches, he's going to try to match the system with the personnel. That ball goes over the touchline. How many seasons have you and I done, Brant? We won't age ourselves, but, and I'm not saying it's wrong, but you hear some coaches say that regardless of the circumstances, time, score, whatever, we are sticking to our system, to our plan. Whereas Coach Holman is taking that approach of, let's see what works as we get ready for October 1st at Utah State, the first Pac-12 match.
It's been his philosophy in his more than 3 decades of coaching. Stops to the SEC in the Southland. Now here the Pac-12. Back towards midfield. Out of bounds it goes. 6 minutes into the first half. Still nothing between Texas State and UTRGV. 2 teams meeting for the first time ever. And it's either the scores table, wearing the backwards cap of the shades, one young-looking athletic director, Don Coryell. Battle for possession. Lava Dupree for Texas State with it. Blazing speed along the far side. Looking for a cross into the 18. Bounces at the top to Victoria Mesa. Back to Dupree. Opportunity for a set piece for the Bobcats. Dupree headed away. Vaqueros, good job getting back defensively.
That was kind of a microcosm, just watching that sequence there, of what Texas State suffered against UTSA, where there's the buildup, and it looks like it's going to be dangerous, and just missing that final play, that final pass, that final run.
So here against UTRGV, Bobcats will get a free kick. Vaqueros again losing at home to the Tigers out of the SWAC in their opener 2-0. Only allowed 3 shots, but 2 reached the back of the net against Amezcua. A year transition for UTRGV, 19 newcomers, only 8 players back from last year. Now in year 3 for them in the Southland, conference of which they're picked to finish last. Satsui gives away to Goalkeeper. Just outside the 6 on the back post, and Norshi was in pursuit for Texas State, couldn't make contact.
Looks similar to Texas State's second goal against UTSA the other night. But it's that pressure, right? Texas Southern, the 2 goals they scored, one came from well outside the box, goes off the hand of the goalkeeper into the back of the net. And the second goal for the Tigers was simply a ball that the Vaqueros simply didn't clear, let the ball sit there.
Set pieces have been a big part of Texas State's offense as Steve Holman took over. In fact, a year ago, Texas State program record 45 assists, shattered the previous record of 37, which was set by a Coach Holman team in 2023.
Yeah, how many times do you watch a soccer match and you see teams that almost treat those set pieces as just a restart of play? Texas State is intentional. And it was on full display again at UTSA the other night. It was just a beautiful goal. Here I go on a limb. There won't be a more beautiful goal scored by Texas State this season, maybe.
Takeaway for the Vaqueros in the attacking third. Norshi got in the passing lane. Alarmino works the two-set Sui. Now she's got Smith to her left. Constance Ajamang will be picked up by Mesa. Ajamang got turned around and Texas State turns it over.
Yeah, there we go again, right? I see you nodding, I'm nodding, where Texas State looks like the ball's flowing. They're gaining ground against UTRGV and just miscommunication on that last pass. That'll come with time. I think Coach Holman even mentioned as much to you, that he understands that we're not going to call this the preseason, it's the non-conference, but some things do need to get cleaned up.
Nearly 10 minutes in so far. No score, only one shot came from Texas State within the first 5 minutes. A couple of fouls against the Bobcats, one against the Vaqueros, two teams that have never played each other before. Strange to think about, given the fact these two are both located in the state of Texas. Ajamang. Nice footwork. Very skilled offensive player, Constance Ajamang. Tied for second to the team and goal scored a year ago behind Maji Somer. One of the offensive pieces the Bobcats were having to replace this season. Here's Alexis Montgomery. And for Dupree, can't beat it to the back line, and a goal kick coming up for the Vaqueros.
I said it earlier during the broadcast, how genuinely surprised I was that these two have never met in women's soccer. UTRGV launched their program back in 2014, so there have been opportunities, but there are the connections. The head football coach at UTRGV, Travis Bush, was a captain of the football team here, went on to be an assistant and offensive coordinator at Texas State. Derek Matlock, the baseball coach down in Edinburgh, was the pitching coach here on some of the best Texas State baseball teams to ever take the field.
Here comes Texas State. Good defensive play made in front of the 6 by Sienna Church. Bobcats will get a deep throw in here past the 11-minute mark of the first half. And also Coach Taki Stewart has connections with the Texas State staff as well. He knows Coach Holman very well, albeit this is his first year in Edinburgh. So maybe not quite the coaching connections that the two schools have had prior. As Dupree throws into Montgomery. Cleared out by the Vaqueros. Brought back in by Norshi, the former Seminole. Use it for Alarmino. That's Kaylee Smith. Looking for Ajamang. And keep it in play. A couple of times Ajamang just hasn't quite been in position to receive those passes.
Texas State will work on getting that cleaned up and being able to finish the sequences and getting back to Coach Stewart and relationships and connections. In his first season at the helm at UTRGV, he has experience in the Southland, was an assistant at SFA over in Nacogdoches for a time when SFA had some really good women's soccer teams.
Last 3 years, head coach at the Division III level, St. Thomas out of Houston. Mason with a cross in front of the 6, brought back into the 18. Here's Montgomery, gonna work it back. And here's a shot, goes right of the targets. Second shot of the night for Texas State.
I watched the UTRGV Texas Southern match a couple of times, and again, this is playing out the same as that match. Do you remember that Draper's in goal for Texas State?
Yes. She hasn't been challenged yet.
Yeah.
I believe she's only made contact with the ball once tonight.
Yeah.
Alarminu. Fight off the defender, leaves it for Montgomery. Now Satsui. Satsui, shot deflected, top of the 18. Tracked down by Ajamang. Back to her sophomore. Smith, former Mississippi State Bulldog. In her first year at Texas State, names the Sun Belt's Newcomer of the Year. A quick throw in. The ricochet. Smith gonna center it. All cleared out by the Vaqueros once again. Sending a lot of defenders back into the 18.
Yeah, look at the picture right there. And you can see UTRGV a lot like what UTSA did the other night. Very defensive minded. Now UTSA had the ability to then convert into the counterattack. Let's see if the Vaqueros will be able to duplicate that.
Texas State looking to win a home opener for a 6th straight season, having suffered such a loss since 2020 against SFA. Record of 18-9-0 all-time in openers. So this is the 28th home opener all-time for a program that was born back in 1999. Here's Satsui. Centering pass, top of the 18 for Mesa. Mesa back in possession, works it back for Satsui. Smith. Going to bend that towards the back post, knocked away by Amezcua.
Good job of getting off her line by the UTRGV goalkeeper.
A lot of pressure from Texas State's offense here in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah. Amezcua, again, sometimes as a goalkeeper, you can get caught spectating. And she did a nice job of abandoning her line and getting to the ball.
Ajamang able to track this one down. Here's the cross, backside of the 6, but nobody home. Bobcats will settle for a throw-in here in the attacking third. There is Lila Dupree, sophomore from New Braunfels, grew up not too far outside of Texas State's campus. Second team All-State player. Senior year in high school, scored 29 times. Did start against the Roadrunners on Wednesday, but limited to 34 minutes against UTSA. One of the Bobcat players that got one of the yellow cards.
Coach Holman, as you would expect early on this season, we're going to see it tonight as well. Going to see a lot of faces out on the pitch for Texas State. Only 3 players at UTSA played the full 90.
See a lot of playing time this time of year, getting staggered.
Yeah, especially 100 degrees out, right?
Our first corner of the night is from Texas State. It's Jenny Goncum. A number change over the offseason from 32 to 33. Left-footed kick coming. Goncum. Backside of the 6, and the header cleared out by UTRGV. Brought back in by Alarminu, but a clear out by the Vaqueros.
Good job of getting it out of there by the Vaqueros. At Texas Southern, the second goal came on a ball that was there in the box, and the Vaqueros didn't react and didn't clear the ball, and the Tigers ended up putting it in the back of the net for the second goal of that match.
Talked about Taki Stewart first year with the Vaquero program. But at the subdivision 1 level, 96 career wins for him, 6 seasons of 10 wins or more, a career winning percentage of .667. And you could tell that administration wanted to bring in a coach with a winning pedigree, and Taki Stewart has that. Mesa's header attempt lead to a goal kick here for the Vaqueros.
And Coach Stewart taking over for Coach Mark Foster, who left the program last season due to medical reasons. All the best, of course, to him. So there was that disruption for UTRGV a season ago. But Coach Stewart didn't just take the job in Edinburgh, right? He left home. He left Mama, his alma mater.
And Mark Foster now on the staff in Mississippi State. Run down here, Kaylee Smith battling with London Johnson, a freshman from nearby Cibolo. Johnson into the hands of Kaylin Draper. First time she's used her mitts here tonight.
Good job by Johnson, not just to challenge the ball, but gain control of the ball and be dangerous, putting a little bit of pressure on Texas State's back end.
You talk about soccer running throughout the family bloodline. London Johnson's father, Kerwin, one of the greatest soccer players in the history of Incarnate Word men's soccer, and he's now the head coach for TLU's program out in Seguin.
So you're saying that she had a lot of soccer conversation, football conversation at the dinner table?
Yeah,
huh?
Grew up with it, been a part of her life ever since birth. Ball be tracked down by Kaylee Smith as we approach 20 minutes in. Still no score. Vaqueros yet with an official shot. Texas State with 3. No shots yet on goal for either team. Around this time, you'll start to see the first handful of subs come in as well.
And we will have hydration breaks coming up. We'll find out. Stay tuned.
Here's Dupree, going to work it back to Montgomery. All Bobcat starters still out there. Alarmidu, Haley Smith, online passing here for Texas State. Satsui can't maintain control. Back towards midfield. Boutini battling for it for the Vaqueros. Bobcats back in possession. Offline pass that time. Alarmidu, through ball. Mesa can't beat Amesqua to it. Dives on the ball. Bobcats, one of their better scoring chances of the night.
Yeah, great imagination, great ball there. And again, Amesqua does a tremendous job of abandoning the line and coming out to get to the ball, showing her athleticism.
So again, Amesqua brought in over the offseason a transfer from Southern Miss. One of 2 transfer keepers for the Vaqueros, Veronica Pasion, the junior from East Texas A&M, the other. A lot of familiarity in the Southland Conference. Conference won by Houston Christian last year.
Yeah, Northwestern State won the regular season. As you just mentioned, HCU won the tournament. Northwestern State picked to win the Southland this year.
The Demons had one of the biggest upsets of the college season last year, taking down Texas in Austin. New regime now with the Longhorns as well. Norshi able to beat Bertini. Here's Alarmidu to her left. Pass through 2 defenders. Ajabang into the 18. Here's the cross, backside of the 6. Attacker is there. Header just wide. Mesa just missing, making it 1-0.
Yeah, that would have been a beautiful, beautiful goal for Texas State. Again, an opportunity. Texas State so close to getting the ball in the back of the net, but just missing that final piece.
Possession time so far dominated by Texas State. Ball has been living on their side of the field the majority of these first 22-plus minutes. Vaqueros, at some point, you need that to tilt the other way. All that being said, still no score.
UTRGV, it's clear, and we've talked about it, been very defensive-minded in terms of how they've set things up. But if you give the opposition opportunity after opportunity, eventually you're going to miss an assignment, you're going to miss a ball.
Vaqueros in possession, just shy of midfield. A lot of traffic to navigate through here for Yerisa Perez. And Perez trying to connect with Bertini, where she will work it back to Draper. Coming to the 26th year, a keeper battle between Draper and Brooklyn Escobar. Burst onto the scene last year as a freshman for Texas State from Liberty Hill. Fourth in the Sun Belt in saves, top 10 in save percentage, 6 shutouts, second most in the Sun Belt. So far, every minute in goal, young part of the season, handled by Draper. Out her third year at Texas State. Suey back for Montgomery.
You think about Texas State's program and how the Texas State program has been blessed so much with good goalkeeping. I think Heather Martin is maybe, well, not maybe, she's on the Mount Rushmore of Texas State goalkeepers, but there have been some really, really good other netminders for Texas State as well.
And coaching those keepers, Nathan Stockey, who's been with Coach Holman for more than a decade now. Time going back together in Beaumont at Lamar in the Southland. Now together here in year 5 at Texas State. Haley Smith. Going to work it back to Alarminu. Use it for Montgomery in those yellow cleats. Squeezing it through 2 Vaquero defenders. Dupree lasers that right to Amesqua, who's been far busier in this first half than her goalkeeping counterpart.
100%. That's kind of been the storyline to this point. Anybody just tuning in, as the field's been tilted. However, you see it there on the graphic. It's still 0-0.
It now 25 minutes through this first half. Here at the Bobcat Soccer Complex, Brant Freeman alongside Bill Colhane on the Pac-12's official YouTube channel. Pac-12 fans will get to know Boco's Army, a fixture here at the Soccer Complex. Fan group that is positioned just to the bottom left of your screen there. Drums and goal smoke ready to go. It's become a really atmospheric environment here since Coach Holman took over. He's coached 35 matches at home, and he's won 21 of them. Getting a lot of support from the fan base.
A year ago, the Bobcats here at home 5-3-2 on the year. And to your point a moment ago, I need to be careful here, but it's almost like Texas State, there used to be soccer matches, but now it's an event. Coming out to the soccer complex and cheering on Coach Holman and the Bobcats.
Team coming off a very strong close to last year. They've suffered only 1 loss over the last 11 regular season matches. That does include Wednesday's opener at UTSA. But took that momentum towards the end of last season as you look at Boco's Army here. And as you can see, these aren't current students here. These are just people in the community that come out to support the soccer program. They've been doing so for a number of years now. Mason just outside the 6. The Vaqueros clear it back to midfield. Godkin will work it back to Kaylee Smith. Circles to her right.
Do you and I have connections where we'll ever get to bang the drum?
I could have stopped you at, do we have connections? The answer is no. Godkin looking for Sitsui over her head. Dupree on the backside. Looking for Mesa. Punched away by Adelina Martel, freshman from El Paso. Captain play by Alarminu. Here's Ajamang. And the Bobcats, another deep throw-in coming here.
Good job there by Saboya. Good defense. Not allowing the Texas State Bobcat to turn.
UTRGV
Substitution here, Sienna Gillespie, junior from Tampa, Florida. One of the newcomers for the Vaqueros is in, transferred from Daytona State. where she won a JUCO national title. You see the Bobcats bringing in some subs themselves. Sadie Guzman is in for Texas State along with Merlick Miro. And Guzman, one of the heroes in this past season, scored the winner in the championship match of the Sun Belt tournament against ULM.
UTRGV, 6 NCAA transfers, 4 JUCO community college transfers, and 9 freshmen joining the program for Coach Stewart.
And here's a ball into the 6. Keeper out of position, but cleared away by UTRGV. On for Lekmiro. Got to work around a couple of Vaquero defenders. And Albertini for UTRGV, but the ball went out of play. Texas State will throw in as we approach the 30-minute mark of the first half.
Yeah, unforced error there. Bertini not able to keep the ball from traveling across the touchline. I think she was looking up, thinking about her next play instead of controlling the ball.
Possession domination by Texas State so far in this first half. Neither keeper credited with a save yet. No shots on goal, but the Bobcats have threatened. Here's Mesa having to work through the official there as well. Now it's Guzman, sophomore from Cedar Park. Big moment for her as a freshman last year, as we said, in Foley, Alabama. Montgomery for Alarmidu. Nice pass for Satsui. A touchback to Alarmidu. Here's Mesa. So much traffic, though, for the Bobcat offense to work through as UTRGV's defense has played back the entire first half.
Yeah, very defensive, and shots on goal aren't always indicative of the flow, how a match is going, and kind of the case here. Certainly it's been Texas State on the attack.
The defense here from Guzman as Alarmidu will work it back to Godkin. Still in possession to her left. Lekmiro. Here's it back for Guzman, deep into the corner. Here's the cross, outside the 6. Maybe a shot coming. Montgomery off the deflection, bounces wide of the goal.
Put another tick mark down, Brandon, where Texas State threatening and not able to quite get that final play.
But last touch by Vaquero, corner here for Texas State. Their second tonight, and one of the best players they had handling these a year ago was Matsuri Satsui. 8 assists last year for Satsui, tying the freshman record at Texas State. Third most by any player, any classification in team history last season. Right-footed kick from Satsui, playing it deep, backside of the 6. Mesa around the area. Here's Montgomery, shot deflected. Bobcats thought there was a handball, no call.
You see right there, Texas State immediately right back on the attack.
Satsui, edge of the 18. Fakes left, comes right. Here's a shot, knocked down by Amesqua. Off the rebound, the shot. Texas State strikes first. Second goal of the year for Nina Norshi. It's 1-0 Bobcats.
First word that comes to mind, Brant, inevitable. The way this match was flowing, Amesqua under duress time and time again tonight, and finally Texas State finds the back of the net. It all started, in my opinion, with that really nice play shot on goal by Satsui. Kind of got UTRGV out of position defensively. Loose ball ends up on the foot of a Bobcat.
Nina Norshi, second goal of the season, second transfer from Florida State, the one that knocks it in, although Looks like they might be giving the goal to Constance Aujamang. And it is 1-0 Texas State.
That was a culmination of a lot of pressure by the Bobcats again. You can pack things in defensively. You can get bodies in front of the goal, but it's asking a lot of your team, a lot of your defense to be perfect against this relentless type of attack like Texas State has deployed so far tonight.
So the 7th shot of the night for the Bobcats finds the back of the net, their second one on goal. Both of those attempts came in the last sequence against Amezcua. Amezcua has now faced 5 shots on goal this year and has allowed 3 to get by her.
The first goal for Texas Southern in the first match, it was a shot from distance off her hand. The second goal, there's not a goalkeeper on planet Earth that would have stopped that shot because Texas Southern was literally in front of the goal.
Oh, Mesa, a great chance. Too much off her left foot over the crossbar. Victoria Mesa very active all night tonight. Such a tremendous defender in space, terrific in possession as well. One of the more well-rounded players Coach Holman has had in this Texas State program.
There's Satsui again, and go back to the goal. It started with her play, her getting the shot on goal, putting UTRGV, the defense, and the goalkeeper in conflict.
Ten minutes to go in this first half. 1-0 Texas State. Norshi thought about getting it back to Draper. Instead, works it back to midfield to Satsui. Now Alexis Montgomery. Here's Guzman. Alaminu, nice touch pass. And correction, by the way, it was, in fact, just checking the replays, Constance Aujamang was the one who scored for Texas State, not Norshi. So for Aujamang, her first goal of the year, 5 of those a year ago. Into the stands. Bobcats will throw in with less than 10 minutes to go in this first half. And there is Constance Aujamang being subbed out now. Well-deserved break for her. Only played 26 minutes in a reserve role against UTSA on Wednesday. Didn't take a shot. First breather of this first half.
Number 13, Tanai Stewart.
After recording 35 minutes on the pitch.
Leaving the match, number 17, Constance Aujamang. Number 14, Matsuri.
I think everybody who participated in the Pac-12 preseason predictions, Texas State picked to finish second out of the 9 teams. Everybody who was involved in that understands there is a lot of talent on this Texas State roster. Coach Holman and his staff. Now it's taking that clay and putting together this team. And there will be matches in the build-up to the Pac-12 where the coaching staff and the players will be able to figure all that out.
Right now you can tell that UTRGV is struggling against Texas State's athleticism, the speed right now. Coach Holman referenced how fast the pace was against UTSA on Wednesday, and they're playing at a very fast pace right now. It feels like the Vaqueros are having a hard time keeping up.
Yeah, part of that, again, I think is adjusting to the new system, to your new teammates, understanding everybody's strengths and weaknesses. Texas State has so much speed, such a technical squad. We've already seen it here in the first half with 7 minutes to go until intermission.
Two players collide. Goalkeeper down for Texas State. Gillespie able to bounce back up for UTRGV. Goalkeeper is still down. Vaqueros in possession. Bertini with a shot, knocked down by Smith. Bertini on the rebound. That goes into the streets. And the Bobcats will check on Jenny Goalkeeper. Be favoring that left foot.
Yeah, landed on the foot there of the Vaquero before going down. And I just hope it's just a tweak. Of course, she's a big part of that back line for Texas State, keeping Draper clean back there.
Goalkeeper limited to 28 minutes against UTSA on Wednesday. Going to start against the Roadrunners in Texas State's season opener. Sydney Bassa and Annabelle Fisher checking in for Texas State. Bassa, the junior from Lumberton, and Fisher, senior out of Orange, Texas. Right near the Texas-Louisiana border. And another sub coming in for the Bobcats. Grace Dare, freshman from Round Rock, playing for a very good Round Rock Dragons high school program. One of the top in the Central Texas area.
At Round Rock High School, the Dragons have been really good at girls soccer for a long time. Texas State's goalkeeper, we've seen her tonight, of course, Draper. She's from Hutto, Texas. About a 15-minute drive from Round Rock.
Maybe a chance coming up for Texas State again. Ball into the 18. Here's the cross. Here's the shot. What a play for Texas State. Grace Dare, the freshman from Round Rock, makes it 2-0 Bobcats.
Hasn't even broken a sweat since coming off the bench, but what nice work, connect the dots stuff by Texas State. What do they say about pressure? Sorry, Brent. What do they say about pressure, right? Can make diamonds.
At a moment that Grace Dare will remember for a long time, her first career collegiate goal. The Bobcats on their 8th shot of the night take a 2-0 lead over UTRGV.
It's been building since kickoff. Since we started tonight's match, Texas State has been on the attack, looking for their spots, being dangerous. Here in the last few minutes, the Bobcats have been able to find the back of the net.
Well, the goal scorers tonight have been Constance Sajamang and Grace Dare for Texas State. One a senior and the other a freshman. A lot of work for the Vaqueros to do to get back into this. They have not been in possession very long in this first half. Finally with it now in the attacking third. Here's Gillespie and Draper able to beat the attacker to it. Bertini.
Great idea by Gillespie. Little through ball there, trying to find her teammate with pace. We'll see if being down 2-0, if now UTRGV will have to loosen things up a little bit.
Coming up in the final 5 minutes here shortly in the first half. All Texas State. Orshie up along the near side. Able to find Sydney Ritter. Leaves it for Dare. Moments ago, her first career goal. Had that ball taken away by Gillespie. It'll stay in play, and Guzman will work it all the way back to her keeper, Draper, at the top of the Vaqueros 18.
We've seen Gillespie with back-to-back nice plays, one on the offensive side and then getting back and taking care of her defensive responsibilities.
Talk to Coach Holman about this year's team. Feels as if, again, they're deeper than they were a year ago, perhaps more athletic. But what they lack, at least at this stage of the year, is that sense of just togetherness and chemistry, but believes they can find their way to establishing that by the time they hit November.
Yeah, that cohesion that Coach is talking about, you're talking about there, you know, that can come with time. That can come with reps. That can come with matches and being challenged. And Texas State, there is so much skill. And you and I have been around Texas State soccer program for a long, long time. And there are so many players out here for the Bobcats who can simply run, right? Who can chase balls and who can be on the attack and put pressure on the opposition.
By the way, they've given Sydney Ritter the assist on that shot from Eldair, so her first career Texas State point. Transfer out of West Virginia.
It was a beautiful pass, right on the foot.
Ritter with it again. Outside the 18, Annabelle Fisher. Here's a cross, backside of the 18. Two attackers there for Texas State, but defenders also back for the Vaqueros. And a goal kick now for UTRGV. Again, the keeper, Mariana Amezcua, a little bit closer to home now, hailing from Puebla, Mexico. Edinburgh not too far outside the U.S.-Mexico border, certainly closer than Hattiesburg, Mississippi anyway. As a Vaquero player gets knocked down with 3 to go in the first half. That's Amy Romero, sophomore from Houston, one of the players that Coach Stewart took with him from St. Thomas.
So familiar with the system, clearly can help communicate with her teammates with that transition from St. Thomas.
Honorable mention, all player last year for the Celts.
Okay, partner, as Draper gets ready to boot it away, you mentioned Mexico. I refuse to get through this match without asking you about your trip to Mexico a few weeks ago.
It was wonderful. And of course, Bill, alluding to my traveling with the Texas State soccer program to Querétaro, Mexico, where the Bobcats play their Texas State Mexico counterparts. There's a satellite campus just beyond the border. It's a great collaboration for the two universities, a great team bonding experience, great time getting to familiarize ourselves with the campus and also see San Miguel, Mexico as well as a part of the travels there. The second straight year the Bobcats have gone south of the border.
Had to be a tremendous opportunity, not just for yourself but the traveling party as a whole.
Absolutely was. It's a great way. The team spends 5 days together, so there's a lot of travel and a lot
chemistry building.
Yeah, a lot of meals shared together, a lot of team building activities as well, all before the season starts. And for a lot of players, especially some of the internationals, they never had opportunities to go to Mexico before. Players in Texas, it's a little bit more available to them. You can see the whistle blow. Free kick here for the Vaqueros as we've hit inside of 1 minute to go in the first.
You and I have been around other sports where there have been trips like that involved, and always hear the coaches and players come back and they say, yeah, getting the reps and the competition's great, but it's the opportunity for bonding, building chemistry, building continuity that is maybe just as important as all the X's and O's and on the floor and on the court kind of stuff.
And also a chance to simply get some international competition in, especially for some of the players who aren't born outside the U.S. Maybe they haven't gotten the chance to play a lot of international friendlies before.
Yeah.
10, 9, 8.
Final 10 seconds here in the first half.
5,
And behind the goals of Constance Sajamang and Grace Dare, Texas State with a commanding 2-0 lead over the visitors out of Edinburgh, UTRGV. The Bobcat team looking to claim a 6th straight home opening win. They're halfway there.
Bobcats trying to feel things out there in the beginning, and then goal, pause, goal.
And with that, we've hit the half. Bobcats 2, Vaqueros nothing on the official YouTube channel of the Pac-12 Conference. And welcome back to the Bobcat Soccer Complex. At the half, Texas State leading UTRGV 2-0 here in St. Marcus. Brain Freeman alongside Bill Culhane. Glad to have you with us with the moon now out here. Sun is setting in a beautiful St. Marcus, now known as Pac-12 country. Bobcats on top of this home opener 2-0 over the Vaqueros. Into the Pac-12, we'll take a look at the Pac-12 Conference's preseason poll. Bill brought this up earlier. Texas State picked to finish second as the reigning Sun Belt Tournament champions. Utah State, a team that's picked to win the Pac-12 this year, followed by Boise State third, San Diego State fourth, and Washington State. And then you have a two-team tie for sixth, the Rams, the Bulldogs out of Fort Collins and Spokane, respectively, and Fresno State, and of course, longtime Pac-12 member Oregon State, rounding out the preseason poll in the Pac-12. Now, the Bobcats with some players to watch in the Pac-12 this season. And again, the team with a lot of pedigree heading into their first year in this new conference. Helen Alarmido, who we talked about earlier, great offensive threat for Texas State a year ago. Matsuri Satsui coming off a fantastic freshman campaign with 8 assists. And Victoria Mesa, tremendous two-way player for the Bobcats, also a player to watch.
Yeah, a lot of talent in the Pac-12 from top to bottom, no doubt. I don't know that there's another squad in the Pac-12, however, who can send out a trio like we just had up on the screen for Texas State. Alarmido, Satsui, and Mesa, 3 of the best, not just in the Pac-12, but in the country.
Well, there's also the United Soccer Coaches Poll as well, as we talk about some of the soccer around the country and teams in the top 10. Looking at the United Soccer Coaches top 10, Stanford followed by Notre Dame. So the top 4 right there, all under the ACC, the Cardinal, the Irish, the Blue Devils, and the Seminoles. Then you get into the SEC with Vanderbilt followed by TCU, Michigan State, UNC, Big Ten, ACC respectively. Old Pac-12 and UCLA now in the Big Ten. And the Arkansas Razorbacks out of the SEC coming in at number 10. So again, your score at the half, it is Texas State 2, UTRGV nothing. We'll take a look back at some of the first half highlights. After this, you're watching Sunday Night College Soccer on the official YouTube channel of the Pac-12 Conference. And welcome back and look at the water tower here on the campus of beautiful Texas State University. Again, this is Pac-12 country. Bobcats on top of the Vaqueros 2-0. Looking back at the highlights of the first half. Let's start, Bill, with the first goal of the night. Constance Ajimang for Texas State.
Yeah, and that was really the culmination of Texas State putting a lot of effort into getting pressure on UTRGV's defense, and I think I used the word inevitable. And there's the second goal where it was just obviously the Bobcats get the ball wide. A nice job of running by the freshman there to get her first goal. Eldir found the spot, found the void, and it was a perfect pass.
And the goal smoke out at full force as the Bobcats get two by Mariana Amezcua in the first half, as Bill said, from Ajimang and for the freshman Grace Eldir. You look at the stats in the first half, and Bill, they told the story of what we saw, domination by Texas State.
If you looked at that graphic, didn't have any idea what the score was, it would be 2-0, 3-0. The Bobcats, again, it's just been pressure since the start of the match. The Vaqueros were very defensive-minded, and for what was it, 25, 30 minutes of the first half, able to keep the Bobcats out of the net, and it was just pretty much like the Texas Southern match for the Vaqueros, where Amezcua is being called upon far too often.
Again, 2-0. Texas State on top of the Vaqueros. Start of the second half coming up after this. You're watching Sunday Night College Soccer on the official home of the Pac-12 here on YouTube. And welcome back to the Bobcat Soccer Complex on this Sunday night. Early season matchup between Texas State and UTRGV. Two teams never met before. Meeting tonight has been all Bobcats. We went through the first half highlights and guided you through some of the numbers as well. And as the score would indicate, all Texas State on top 2-0. Goals from Constance Ajimang and Grace L. Dare for Texas State. 9 shots to the Vaqueros, won 3 of those on goal, 2 of them by Mariana Amezcua. No shots on target for the Vaqueros. They have quite a mountain to climb here in the second half.
Yeah, and shots on goal don't paint the entire picture, because Texas State, again, because of their skill, their ability to maintain possession of the ball, continue on the attack time after time, the Bobcats were threatening virtually the entire first 45 minutes.
Well, we just mentioned Mariana Amezcua, and you just saw the new Vaqueros keeper head towards her goal. It's Veronica Pasion, the junior from North Richland Hills, Texas, the greater DFW area. Just spent her last season at East Texas A&M, a starter there the last 2 years for the Golden Lions. 8 wins, 48 saves, but her save percentage under .650. She'll be challenged here in the second half against a very talented, skilled, athletic Texas State offense.
All of that, and we've been talking throughout the broadcast about how Coach Holman and his staff trying to figure out how the pieces are going to fit. Well, Coach Stewart is in his first year. He even has more questions than Coach Holman.
Oh, here's Mesa with a shot over the crossbar. About 30 seconds into the second half with the Bobcats already challenging Pasion in goal.
If you missed the first half, fans, folks watching, you just kind of got a glimpse at how the first 45 minutes went.
So Mesa just missing a chance for her 13th career goal.
9 times out of 10, Mesa puts that in the net.
Yes, she does. First team All Sunbelt last year, despite only being limited to 16 matches between her time with the El Salvador national team. Also, because of red cards and some injury, did not play a full season, but still got first team All Conference honors.
Yeah, a lot of respect in the world of Sunbelt soccer, but we already talked about it at halftime. The Pac-12 knows about her as well.
9-team conference, all 9 playing women's soccer in the Pac-12. Talked about it at the half. Utah State picked to win the conference this year. Texas State picked to finish second. It'll be a very competitive season in the Pac-12.
And what a match to start Pac-12 play. Bobcats at Utah State, October 1st.
And Logan, Utah. Texas State was briefly in a conference with Utah State in their 1 year in the WAC.
Texas State's road Pac-12 matches, already said, at Utah State. Also will travel to Pullman to take on Washington State. Fresno State and Oregon State will have the Bobcats visit as well. So here at home, it'll be Boise State, San Diego State, Colorado State, and Gonzaga.
Of course, Texas State is the easternmost team now in the Pac-12, where they were the westernmost in their last home, the Sun Belt Conference, and they are the only program in the Central Time Zone. That'll be a bit challenging, too, when it comes to going on the road for Texas State, at times crossing 2 time zones to play.
Can I take you into my household?
Please
for
do.
a moment? So we are going to see Texas State play San Diego State in football. What is that, October 3rd, I do believe.
Weekend of October.
Right, and the first thing my wife said is 7:30 Pacific, that's 9:30 our time.
Welcome to the Pac-12 After Dark.
After dark, right?
Here comes Texas State. This is Ava Cooker. Inside the 18. Cross deflected. Cooker gets it back to Satsui. And now Alexis Montgomery. Shuffling lefts. He'll leave it back for Jenny Gonkin. Good to see her back in after getting knocked down late in the first half. Montgomery shielding her defender. It's knocked down to the Bobcats. Get a free kick deep in the attacking third.
we weren't at practice, but I have to believe coming out of the UTSA match, one of the things that Coach Holman, the veterans, the other coaches talked about to the team is be prepared for the physicality. We've got to match physicality with physicality.
Goalkeeper and Satsui setting up here for the free kick. Goalkeeper will give way. Satsui just outside the 6, off Alarminu. Norshi deflected by Passion. Ajamang with the shot. Almost her second one of the night. Tracked down by Kaylee Smith. Cooker. Back post. Mesa the header. There's her first goal of the season. 3-0 Texas State.
Pressure. And I know we have to hit the rewind button for a little bit. Think about the set piece and the ball that Satsui sent in. From there on, UTRGV defensively scrambling.
A beautifully placed pass by Ava Cooper, first-year transfer from Stetson. Played all minutes, all 90 minutes at her Bobcat debut against UTSA on Wednesday. Saw great things from her in that friendly against Texas State, Mexico. Figures to be a part of the offense this year, and she placed that perfectly for Victoria Mesa.
So many times you see players send the ball in. I mean, they just put the ball towards goal. That was intentional. As you said, I think you used the word perfect, and that was the perfect description.
Well, Mason nearly made it 3-0, 30 seconds into the half. Does it here, about 5 minutes in.
Bobcat fans, your attention please.
Once again, Texas State in possession in the attacking third. There's Satsui for Texas State. Just tremendous athleticism she's showing off. Now Mesa angles, shoots over the crossbar, left of the post. He continues to be aggressive for the Bobcats, even with this commanding lead.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's almost like all the great scorers in the history of soccer. Once they get a taste for the blood in the water, they get even more inspired.
Bobcats, several internationals on this year's team. As we talked about earlier, we've seen some of the flags that hang behind the goal as well, signifying those, to include Mesa's home country of El Salvador, which the Bobcats have had several players hail from over the years. Has spent time with the national team this summer. Texas State, 3 players from Ghana, Jenny Godkin from France, 2 players from Japan, and 2 from Barcelona, Spain. Of course, Spain winning the Men's World Cup this summer. A thriller against Argentina. Cooker. Here's the cross. Outside of the 6. Backed up by Ajamang. Leaves that for Montgomery. Grounds it left of the post. And the Bobcats, another shot on goal.
Another shot on goal and another tremendous job of piecing together intentional passes.
There we'll look at Veronica Passion, again starting in goal in the second half for the Vaqueros.
Yeah, she had a good front row seat there to see how the first half went, and she has to feel right now that she's under fire. But what I was going to say a moment ago, I know they're not engraving any trophies right now at Pac-12 headquarters, but Texas State, you can see the options that the Bobcats have. You and I have looked at enough scouting reports, football, basketball, soccer, volleyball, what have you, and there's always a player or 2 players, right, that are highlighted. If you're putting together a scouting report going up against Texas State soccer, that list of players to watch is long.
Yeah, there's so many offensive threats for Texas State. Very athletic in the back end as well with the defense, and there's a reason why this team is picked to finish second in a conference that they have no familiarity with. They have a reputation, they have a foundation that those programs know about.
100%.
7 minutes gone by in the second. Orshi with a takeaway. Able to center it in the attacking third. Going to leave it back for Mesa. Has options. Left, right, and center. Will go to her left. Ajamang, corner of the 18. Here's the cross in front of the 6. Off the deflection, Montgomery, and the header attempt off target for Texas State. And the ball has lived in the 18 so far in the second half.
Yeah, and that was maybe an overpass. I was expecting a shot maybe there, and that's, I think, been ingrained in Texas State's players, though, that concept of, making that extra pass.
Goal kick for Passion. Back towards midfield. Cooker in position, take away the possession. Instead it's Satsui, now for Mesa. And balling off a couple of Vaquero defenders. Back to her back line at Norshi. Back line that's been anchored by Norshi and Jenny Godkin tonight. Cooker. And the ball went out. Throw-in here for UTRGV. Lila Dupree. Knocked down.
Late whistle.
Called against the Vaqueros.
Thought it was going to be a play on.
Yeah, the Bobcats have won 6 straight home openers a year ago. Got very offensive in their first home match of the year against a non-Division 1 opponent, Our Lady of the Lake. Beat the Saints last year, almost a calendar year ago, August 14th of 2025. Won that match 9-1.
If the Vaqueros are going to get one, have to get much more offensive minded, but it's easy for you and I to sit here in the booth and think about that, because the fear is, of course, Vaqueros, you put too many numbers up forward, Texas State's going to send it over your head, and with the Bobcats' speed and skill, your goalkeeper could be under duress again.
And even with the amount of defenders that UTRGV has had playing back, the Bobcats have just maintained possession for so long. They put a lot of pressure on them. And at the few times the back line has gained possession, the Bobcats are pressing to take possession back.
Yeah, all of that.
In his game plan tonight for Steve Holman and his staff, as Montgomery works at Ajimang. Out to Alarmidu. Montgomery. To hit Cooker off the outside flank. This will be tracked down by Jenny Godkin at Texas State. 10 minutes plus beyond here in the second half. 3-0 Bobcats on top. Advantage in shots in the match 16-1.
Yeah, we thought Draper was bored in the first half. Here in the second.
Bobcats on the attack again. Here's Satsui. Alarmidu touch pass back to Satsui. Through 2 defenders. Locates Alarmidu again. Leaves it back for Satsui. Shot deflected by defender Annie Metter, junior from Denton. Now Montgomery. And the Vaqueros finally can catch their breath with the clear out there.
Another thing, it impressed me against UTSA, but it was hard to gauge because UTSA was so grabby, so hands-on defensively. But the thing that has really impressed me tonight is how Texas State has that ability to control the ball in traffic. I heard you mention a moment ago, the double team. UTRGV, they're sending players at the Bobcats when the ball's on their foot, and the Bobcats just have so much skill, still able to navigate through traffic.
Going to Mesa. Mesa for Alarmidu got tripped up. Cleared out again by the Vaqueros.
There are a lot of players who can dribble a soccer ball if there's nothing but green grass, but a lot of players struggle when there's bodies on them. And Bobcats have dealt with that very well tonight.
Now Texas State stretching the field a bit offensively here in the attacking third is Kaylee Smith with a high ball just into the 18 and dribbles into the hands of Passion. But 3 keepers on the roster for the Vaqueros this year. We saw Amesco in the first half, Passion here to the second. Ray Barrington Hibbert, a freshman from London, also on the Vaqueros team here in 2026. UTRGV, again, a team in transition. 19 newcomers, new coaching staff. But Coach Taki Stewart noting to us that he felt as if there was a really good foundation in which he walked into in Edinburgh and likes the direction of the program as well. Feels as if it was left by good hands of Mark Foster, who you alluded to had to leave the program due to medical reasons.
Yeah, not just that, but it happened during the season. And you and I have been around enough programs, a mix of sports, that, you know, everything is so scheduled and regimented, and just having that disruption doesn't seem like the right word, but it's the only thing that comes to my brain right now. But you know, to have your coach leave and then an assistant takes over, ultimately here in the 2026 season, Coach Stewart takes over the program. Had to be tough, and I think the record from last season kind of reflects that.
From Texas State again. Whistle blows. This will be an offside call against Texas State.
One thing we do know, though, you and I keep our eyes on UTRGV because of our connections with the programs down there, is much like we've seen at Texas State in terms of administration support. You know, it's down there in Edinburgh, just like it is here in San Marcos.
You were connecting the dots between the two schools earlier. Names like Travis Bush and Derek Matlock, and talking about the latter program right there, the baseball team, is Travis Bush got the football program off the ground this past year. Derek Matlock's baseball team went to Corvallis, beat a Pac-12 school in Oregon State. They had tremendous home crowds all year long, some record-setting crowds there at Edinburgh. It is great support that they have there at UTRGV. And local fan base. Montgomery over the crossbar. 25 minutes to go, 3-0 Texas State.
If there's one thing I feel like I've learned in my time around college athletics in general, is you're much better off when it's all hands on deck. It can't be one segment of your operation. It can't just be the team. It can't just be the community. It just can't be the administration, etc. When you get it all together and everybody rowing in the same direction, big things can happen.
Some of these programs still very young. You referenced that soccer for the Vaqueros wasn't established until 2014. Football program just had its first year. This past year, a long history of baseball, soccer, basketball at UTRGV. In fact, their baseball program, back when it was known as UT Pan American, went to the College World Series back in the 70s.
A lot of positives down there. You and I have been fortunate enough to visit the campus a number of times, and UTRGV is the University of the Valley, and Coach Bush and the football program, they got a taste of that firsthand this past football season, undefeated at home. It's an incredible job in their first season.
And they'll be opening up the new year on the road against a program the Bobcats know very well, UTSA. Program that Travis Bush also helped get off the ground.
We don't hold it against him, do we?
Collision around the back line. Lila Dupree got caught up with Sienna Gillespie. Lila Dupree, sophomore from New Braunfels, second-team All-State player at Alamo Heights High School.
The Mules, right? A lot of interesting mascots here in the state of Texas. I know you and I have had that conversation before, but mentioned like New Braunfels, the Unicorns.
Well, you referenced Kaylin Draper's alma mater, the Bobcat keeper, who now comes out, and Brooklyn Escobar takes her place. The goal here. Escobar from Liberty Hill, Texas, a former Panther. That not the unusual name. Kaylin Draper, she went to Hutto, of course, there the Hippos.
Isabella Bertini.
Well, there's Escobar. never allowed more than 1 goal in conference play all of last year. 6 shutouts a season ago, all came in Sunbelt play, 2 of them in the conference tournament. It's a pair of 1-0 shutout victories over South Alabama and ULM in the semis and finals, respectively. Escobar, though, got a red card in the regular season finale against James Madison, so she was unable to play in the quarterfinal match for Texas State against the Dukes. So Maud Wanette, a little used keeper from France, was forced into the starting role and had the match of her life.
Stood on her head.
And the Bobcats wound up beating the Dukes in PKs. As a result, Wanette was named to the all-tournament team.
Leading the match, number 10, Helen.
How many years did you see Texas State get close in that tournament? And last season, Bobcats were able to finish the deal. And again, what a tremendous way to have momentum going into the new conference, going into the 2026 season. Coach Holman knows a lot about it, but it has to be easier to recruit.
Kaylee Smith crossed into the 6. Bobcats keep it just outside the 18.
It has to be easier to recruit when you can point to student athletes and say, look at these NCAA tournament appearances.
A header attempt just missed there by Texas State. Guzman for the Bobcats. And back to Norshie in the back line. Tough start of the year so far for the Vaqueros. Lost 2-0 to Texas Southern in their opener, down 3-0 here. Named Brooke Martinez into the match for Texas State. First-year transfer from Texas. On the topic of Alamo Heights, a former Mule player herself.
I'll say this for UTRGV, coming off what was less than a stellar season opening performance at home against a team like Texas Southern, then having to go on the road at Texas State to try to turn it around, not easy.
Sydney Ritter, who assisted on the goal from Eldair back in the first half. Match right now for Texas State. Ruby Ortiz and now for the Vaqueros. Oh, ball to 6, off the deflection, it's in, and it's 4-0 Texas State. Second one tonight for Victoria Mesa.
Field tilted, Bobcats good with the ball on their feet, and Vaqueros defensively, it's tough to mark for 90 minutes when balls are coming into the box, trip after trip after trip.
Well, that was a great play made by Mare Lekmiro, the transfer from Stanislaus State. It was her deflection that allowed Mesa to score on the rebound. So Mesa with their second one, and it's 4-0 Bobcats all over the Vaqueros tonight.
Kind of fitting that number 4 scores the 4th goal.
Bobcat fans, your attention, please. Bobcat goal.
So 2 in the first half for Texas State, 2 so far here in the seconds. More subs for the Vaqueros. Natalie Singleton had a carrier in for UTRGV. Mentioned that Ruby Ortiz in for Isabella Bertini. Bobcats also working in some subs, but still playing aggressive.
You remember back in the day, pre-shot clock, the 4 corners in basketball? I don't think Texas State's soccer team, I don't think they know how to take the air out of the ball.
As we know, in high school basketball, that's still a thing, is there's no shot clock in the amateur game.
But I think the way this team is wired, it's everything pressing forward.
Texas State with a huge match coming up this week, Wednesday nights. 3 nights from now, they will host Texas A&M out of the SEC. Bobcats battled the Aggies in College Station last year. A return home and home with A&M coming to San Marcos. And we'll have it for you right here on the official YouTube channel of the Pac-12 Conference.
You and I did a Texas A&M Texas State Regional once upon a time.
Did?
We were young then, right?
Oh, man. It was in my teens. The Bobcat attacker got knocked down. Able to bounce right back up. Godkin takes away the pass. On the far side it goes. Cleared out by UTRGV, and Guzman will throw in for Texas State. In fact, for the Bobcats, the next two matches against the P4, the Aggies on Wednesday, and a week from tonight, a rematch of the NCAA tournament from last year as they take on the Baylor Bears in Waco. Here's Mesa for Texas, or I beg your pardon, not Mesa. She's there in front of the 6. Looking for a hat trick tonight. That ball got behind the back line. Through a goal kick coming here for UTRGV with about 22 minutes to go.
That matchup in the NCAA tournament a year ago, the Bears prevailed 3-0. Put an end to Texas State's 2025 season. The Bobcats' last match as a Sun Belt member after 13 years in the Sun Belt. And one thing too, Brant, and I'm going to need your help here, but the way the Pac-12 is doing the tournament this year, it comes down to your non-conference RPI. So matches against the likes of A&M against Baylor can only help the Bobcats' resume in the future for that tournament.
And Texas State, at the end of last season, actually had the best RPI among the future Pac-12 teams.
59, Utah State right behind the Bobcats at 61 last season. So 4 teams qualify for the postseason tournament. And then the team, the program with the highest non-conference RPI will host.
Very similar to the volleyball formula as well. We had a preseason volleyball match here on the Pac-12 YouTube channel yesterday and had that discussion. It is a 9-team volleyball conference, but only 4 will qualify for the conference tournament, and the host will be determined after the first round of conference play.
So the regular season games matches, the importance is magnified. I don't know that I don't like that.
There's been talks a lot about wanting the regular season to mean more. Of course, a lot of that conversation centered around college football as the playoff continues to expand. But you're seeing it in the Pac-12 across all these sports. Maybe some of that a byproduct of a conference that's not all that large in terms of the number of teams. There's a shot just to the right of the post. Nearly made it 5-0 Texas State. But because of that, the regular season in this conference across all sports is in fact magnified.
That has been a criticism. I mean, all I'm doing is looking the opposite here, right? Brilliant. But the argument against that is, you know, if everybody makes the tournament, then, you know, those games, those matches towards the end of the season, middle of the season, you know, yawn, who cares?
25, Grace Deer, number 15, Audrey.
More subs here for the two teams. As we have less than 20 minutes to go, Libby Pohl and for the Vaqueros. Bobcats have brought in Audrey Redis, Grace Dare back in, Cindy Bassa. See her, she's checked into the match as well in the place of Nina Norshi. Dare, one of the goals tonight for Texas State. Constance Ajaman got the scoring started and sends an embrace for Victoria Mesa here in the second half. Free kick for UTRGV just outside of midfield. And it's going to bounce into the 18. And that's a very good job defensively by Redis, freshman from Cedar Park, Greater Austin area. Able to shield off the oncoming attacker. Escobar will have a goal kick here for Texas State.
Mentioned that goal by Dare. She had basically just tied her shoes. She scored. Wasn't on the pitch for very long before she received a really good pass and was able to hit the back of the net. It was Bassa who sent it across, and Elder put it in.
Bassa, a couple of seasons ago, as a freshman, really impressive debut for her. Scored 4 times, 3 of those in PKs. A battle for possession here. It's Bertini fighting for UTRGV against 2 Bobcat defenders. Isabella Bertini, junior from British Columbia, Canada. Second transfer from the University of Calgary. Dangerous ball there. Bobcats trying to maintain this shutout. Godkin will fight for possession off that back line, looking to locate Sydney Ritter. And Ritter still trying to get possession against Adelina Martel. One of the longest possessions the UTRGV has had tonight.
Shots are 19-1.
And the one, of course, for the Vaqueros came in the first half and was not on goal. Oh, and here's a chance. Bertini with a shot. And the Vaqueros are on the board. Isabella Bertini just under the crossbar, and it's 4-1.
Tremendous job of finishing. Texas State, the first time tonight, I think we could really say the Bobcats caught a little flat-footed defensively, and nice job of threading the needle, but an even better job of just blistering that ball into the back of the net.
And Bertini, that one-on-one against Escobar. Well placed. And something here for the Vaqueros to build off of. A team that got shut out in the opener against Texas Southern earlier or this past week. And preventing a shutout tonight, you get your first goal of the season, your first positive to build off of.
Precisely, and that is, of course, what Coach Stewart, his team, looking for. Is to create that momentum. A program picked to finish last in the Southland. That doesn't mean you have to finish last if you're UTRGV.
Collision. As we see Audrey Redis get knocked down by Aduhea Alona, freshman from Katy, where she played at Seven Lakes High School. Call for the foul there. And Alona also credited with an assist on the last goal from Bertini, and there's fireworks going on here in San Marcos.
Is that premature celebration?
I don't know. I don't think they're directly outside the soccer stadium, but somebody in San Marcos is celebrating something right now.
I hope that's not off the top of my car.
Or is it your car that's having some issues?
Is it my?
All right.
My car is in that direction. Is it your birthday? It's not my birthday.
About 16 minutes to go here in the second half. Arrows moments ago getting on the board on the goal from Isabella Bertini. Started 9 matches for the Vaqueros last year. Was a one-time Southland Conference co-offensive player of the week. One of a handful of returners for the Vaqueros that seeks to have an impact under this new coaching staff.
It's kind of slowed down now for Texas State. We have 15 minutes or so to go, but Texas State, the offense was fireworks for Coach Holman.
The offense now pieced together 6 goals. Their first 165 minutes of the year. Outside of the 18, ball into the 6. And that's last touched by the Vaqueros, and the Bobcats will set up their third quarter of the night. This fireworks show is still going.
I feel like I missed a holiday.
You don't celebrate August the 16th?
That's over towards Strand Arena. in that direction. Is there some kind of orientation going on over at the football stadium?
It might be freshman move-in.
Freshman move-in?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not a couple of guys in their backyard.
Unless you just gave away our true location just now. And you and I are finding a way to entertain ourselves in addition to the broadcast.
Right?
And it is. By the way, just got confirmation from administration. It is a incoming freshman event, not a couple of guys having fun in the backyard. It's near the LBJ Student Center on campus, so we're connecting the dots. Thank you, Brian Miller, for letting us know about that.
Well, you and I need to start our careers as private eyes. The way we pieced that all together, we'll give Brian some credit. But UTRGV, see it here. Last 4 or 5 minutes, the goal a part of it, but UTRGV starting to press things offensively.
So it is the freshman jump start, the official freshman jump start here at Texas State. That part of the fireworks show out near the LBJ Student Center, right in the middle of campus.
This is a campus. We've talked about Texas State's move to the Pac-12, but you go back to the early 90s, enrollment here was a little over 20,000. Here in the fall of 2026, over 44,000.
The third largest public university in the state of Texas. Boy, and the brand just continues to grow. Certainly, Texas State joining the Pac-12 conference has had a big part in that as well. It's become a nationwide brand, just beyond the state of Texas now.
And when you think about the mission, the university as a whole, and the Pac-12 partners that Texas State will now be aligned with, you and I are a little biased, granted, but Texas State is a fit for those other institutions in the Pac-12.
Well, there was a big desire for those conferences to get into the state of Texas, and what a great fit this university, this athletic program is for the Pac-12 and the direction they're wanting to take.
Yeah, I can think back, and I'm sure you can as well, when Texas State first made the move from 1AA football to 1A football, and there were some raised eyebrows, and quite frankly, you and I heard the comments about why are you doing that? Well, a lot of those institutions, a lot of those folks who were saying those things back then, now they've either made the move themselves or they're thinking about making the move.
Here come the Bobcats on the attack. Fisher. Now it's Ritter for Texas State. Top of the 18, cleared out by the Vaqueros. 11 minutes to go in the second half. Bobcats getting a brace in the second half from Victoria Mesa. First half goals, Ajamang and Eldair. Dub coming in for Texas State.
79th minute, entering the match, number 19, Elias Sanchez. Leaving the match, number 8, Sidney Ritter.
Bobcats continue to empty their bench.
It's Sanchez coming in, the freshman from Barcelona.
Near Sanchez, one of two players for the Bobcats from Barcelona, the other Mar Garcia.
And a part of that international flavor, Coach Holman. Of course, his reputation, his recruiting ability stretches well beyond the state of Texas and well beyond the USA.
More live coverage coming up on the official YouTube channel of the Pac-12 Conference this coming week. More Texas State soccer as the Bobcats host Texas A&M Wednesday night here at the Bobcat Soccer Complex. 7:30 start in San Marcos, and then this coming Saturday, more exhibition volleyball. Texas State taking on former Southland rival Lamar. 2 o'clock first serve from Strain Arena.
Speaking of Lamar, Coach Holman, once upon a time was head coach over in Beaumont for the Lamar Cardinals. Really help turn that program around.
The position he had right before taking over head coach at Texas State, a Bobcat program that's now in its 27th season. They've had a grand total of 2 coaches.
Yeah, I remember when Texas State soccer unpacked the boxes. Look how far the program's come. You look at this facility here at Texas State, among the best in college soccer.
Vaqueros looking for another scoring chance here. Escobar off her hands, but able to recover with an attacker there in the 6th for the Vaqueros. And it was Bertini who scored for UTRGV earlier in the second half. Their lone goal tonight, one of only 2 shots the Vaqueros have gotten off the entire night.
Saw it there again, Bertini making herself dangerous. Just the first half and the first 15, 20 minutes of the second half, it was just Texas State. No taking the foot off the gas, just pressing forward, and UTRGV outmatched.
You mentioned the soccer program for Texas State's only had 2 coaches ever, and a lot of the programs can boast these long tenures within them. You look at the baseball program, 2 coaches this year, 2000 for softball, the 1 coach, Ricky Waters, since 2001. For women's basketball, they just now got in their new coach, Huelsmeyer. This is the 3rd coach of the program dating back to 1998. So coaches come here and build strong foundations, and they stay a while.
I think a part of it as well, some of the folks you mentioned, you and I know, is they fall in love with San Marcos. They fall in love with the university. They learn to appreciate the area and the fan support. Because this is, of course, an era where there is a lot of movement, whether it be coaches, whomever.
Another offside call against Texas State. Under 8 minutes to go here in the second. Bobcats on their way to their first win of the year. Vaqueros looking at an 0-2-0 start. And here's Bertini.
Great idea there by the Vaqueros, and I think UTRGV maybe looking for a whistle.
This will go down as a 22nd win at home for Steve Hallman. What is his 36th home match? Great pass just outside of the 6 for Mesa, looking for that hat trick. Last touch by Vaquero. The Bobcats will get their 4th quarter of the game.
Yeah, I think almost if Mesa had to do it over, she had an opportunity there to stop the ball. Instead of the 1 touch, maybe stop the ball and get a better foot on it.
Here's Tadai Stewart, first-year transfer from Division II Angelo State. Now a Bobcat close to home, hailing from Cibolo, which is about 30 minutes south of San Marcos, heading towards San Antonio. Backside of the 6, played by Fisher. Alarmidu, too strong towards the international flags. So counting America, 6 total countries being represented on this Texas State roster.
All part of the growth that we've seen in the college soccer game over the years, over the decades. Obviously, the student athletes, they come here for the education and the opportunities, but also for the soccer. Sport has grown so much for the better in terms of support, facilities, training programs, coaching staffs.
UTRGV substitution in the 85th minute. Entering the match, number 8, Amy Romero.
Now coming up on the 5-minute mark of the second half. Saw Amy Romero check in for the Vaqueros. See a throw-in coming here for Gabby Saboya. Bassa up along the far side. Able to work that back to the center of the field. Annabelle Fisher finds Mesa. Mesa with a cross. Top of the 6. No shot for Texas State.
Tremendous job by Saboya to clear that away from danger. We've called her name a few times tonight.
We have. A few of the Vaqueros, including Saboya, have played the entirety of the match tonight. The Bobcats, their minutes leader has been Jenny Godkin with 75. Vaqueros have 3 that have played since the beginning.
You're going to be calling some soccer this season, right?
That's the plan.
That's the plan. I'm going to throw this out. It's August 16th. I'll be curious to see when the likes of Boise State, San Diego State, Colorado State, and Gonzaga come here, play at the Bobcats. Nice stop there by Passion. But when those programs come here, I predict it's going to be warmer here than when they got on the airplane at home, right?
And then that's one of the many things that's interesting about this new conference for Texas State and their old stomping ground to the Sun Belt. A lot of the teams were in the South, and so the heat not as impactful, albeit maybe some out near Virginia and the Carolinas. It was more of an issue, but the teams out in the West Coast, the Mountain Time Zone as well, not accustomed to 90, 95 plus, when that's going to be the case here in San Marcos every now and then. So the Bobcats, when they travel, have to get accustomed to the time zone, perhaps
elevation,
higher elevation. The teams coming here, and they're battling the heat.
When the Vaqueros played Texas Southern the other day, it was 100 degrees down in Edinburgh, and there's about a 30-mile-an-hour wind.
Ooh, Mason pursued again. He's had a few opportunities for hat trick tonight. Her 2 goals coming here in the second half. Big night tonight for Victoria Mesa. 2 goals, 8 shots. Played all 90 against UTSA on Wednesday. Didn't score, but did get one of the Bobcat yellows. There have been no yellow cards in this match tonight.
Yeah, that UTSA v Texas State match, I made the joke where there's more contact in that than some of the NFL stuff I watched this weekend.
I don't know if they're yellow cards in chess, but if those 2 schools played each other in that, they'd get them. They'd find a way. Very intense rivalry across all sports, even though the 2 have not been in the same conference with one another in more than a decade. Meet each other on the gridiron again this year, second week of the regular season.
Here in San Marcos, right?
It'll be the first of a 3-game homestand for G.J. Kinney's football program. Coming off another successful bowl championship campaign. Under 90 seconds to go.
I think Coach Holman tonight, when he goes home, he's going to really like the first 70 minutes a whole bunch, especially the offensive approach, the attack, the persistence, the displays of skill. And Coach Stewart, heading back down to the Valley, I think he's going to be able to look at the last 15 minutes or so and tell his squad, look, we can put some things together. We even scored. We're able to crack the egg in the score column for our 2026 season. Now let's go forward from here. I think another thing Coach Holman's going to like is the number of players he was able to get out on the field.
Both teams have worked in a majority of the roster tonight.
It's one thing to practice, right? You can take a player through practices and film study, but into live game action, nothing like it.
And the final seconds took off the clock. Texas State with his first win of the season. First win as members of the Pac-12 Conference as they take down UTRGV with a dominant 4-1 victory here at the Bobcat Soccer Complex.
7 shots on goal, 22 shots for Texas State, and there's a look at Coach Holman. And the things I just said a moment ago, got to play a lot of players, got the win first and foremost, but the Bobcats are starting to build that cohesion, that chemistry that can carry Texas State through the remainder of the 2026 slate.
And for head coach Steve Hallman, career win number 328 and his 43rd at Texas State. So the Bobcats, winners over the Vaqueros tonight to pick up their first win of the new campaign. Well, that's going to wrap up our coverage here tonight from the Bobcat Soccer Complex. So for Bill Colhane, I'm Brain Freeman saying so long from San Marcos. The final score, Texas State 4, UTRGV 1. All games and matches airing on the Pac-12 YouTube network are streaming live at Archive right here on Pac-12 Enterprises YouTube channel. This has been a presentation of the Pac-12. From San Marcos, good night.